Hi everybody, welcome to Dandelion Cottage and Paper Crafting Thursday. I'm Leslie Watkins. How's everybody today? I hope you're well. I've been working on my Butterfly Tribe Traveler's Journal, and this is going to be step 3. And for this episode, I'm going to show you how I've collected photos and ephemera and have begun working on my my color scheme and just kind of getting a feel for how I want the whole thing to come together. So it's been a process, and I thought that if you're just getting started, you might want to follow along with me and see what my thinking is as a designer for the Butterfly Tribe Travel Journal. So let's turn you down and I'll show you what I've assembled so far. So, the travel journal is using the file folders as a base. So these are good, strong cardboard folders. I think they might have a little extra something in them to make them stronger. You can see that there's sort of a sheen, so I'm wondering, some other kind of material other than just paper in here to make these strong. This is the cover, as I showed you in the previous videos. So I've got my watercolored background, my watercolored stamped and die-cut butterflies, and then I've done a little bit of stitching for the cover, and I've added some other colors with the basic black. This is wild wheat, and I like the way they kind of went with this sort of olive green folder. Now, all of the folders have a slightly different color, and that's okay. I really like that. I like that variation. And that also gives me a little leeway in terms of the color palette. And my accent color is the black, because I used that quite a bit when doing the butterflies, and so I'm using that as my main accent. And then inside here I just have temporarily tucked away a bunch of stuff, and so these are things that include ephemera, stuff that relates to my travels with the Butterfly Tribe group of senior women camping meetups, and you can learn more about those on YouTube with Butterfly Tracks, or you can go onto Facebook and find the Butterfly Tribe. And I may have that reversed, so one or the other, and you'll see lots of videos there and learn much more about the group. I also have some old maps that I thought would be fun to use as background, showing the area that the various meetups are in. I have my components for the journal tucked in here so that when I'm ready to assemble it, those will be ready to go. And I'm going to show you some of this other stuff that I've collected here today. So I'm just going to put this aside. I'm going to keep my maps in here. And over here, I've selected some kind of neutral tones. So these are some of the cardstock colors that I've selected to use. I'm not sure that I'll use all of them, but I just wanted to collect a few to get started. Okay, so it kind of looks like that, sort of autumnal. That wasn't by design, it's just the way it turned out, and I am not committed to any one of these colors at this point. I just wanted to have a base to begin with. I've also got some sort of blue tones here because I do have some beach pictures and I want to be able to pick up on the color in the photos. And one of the things that I've discovered, and this may be obvious to a lot of you scrapbookers out there, I'm not a scrapbooker, so this is kind of all new to me. But what I've discovered is that you want to have your photos printed out ahead of time because there are certain color combinations that will repeat themselves in the photos, and you may want to pick up on that with your background. It may be obvious, but it's worth saying. And then I've also selected some designer series papers, and some of these are maybe retired, but I've got the butterfly motif to pick up with the butterfly tribe. And I've also got some black and whites to go with my black accent color. And then I've got this kind of neutral woven pattern that I thought was really pretty. Okay, I like this one, so I thought that might be something I'd want to use. And I have a small pack of DSP. This is called the Beautiful Gallery Designer Series paper, and I just really love the color palette that's used in here. So I thought this would be a very nice kind of a accent paper. So this is by the way, this is two-sided paper. I'm showing you one side here, but if I flip it over, you can see I've got a whole other softer side as well. And there's a map that could be kind of fun. So I love these colors a lot, and I plan on using those. As I was going through my stash and looking to see what else I might have that could be useful, I found this little pack of vellum. This is called Lovely Layers, and this goes back some time. I'm not sure how old this is, but it picks up on that black and white theme with the leaves. And I'll pull one out here and show you what I'm looking at. So there's some plain vellum in the back. Then there are some printed designs on some of the sheets, and then other things that look like this. So at some point, after I get a little more clear on how the travel journal is coming together, I will be wanting to add some pockets and some interactive elements, such as, you know, flaps, tucks, envelopes, all that sort of thing. And the vellum could be really handy when it comes to that stage. So that's what I've got so far for my paper. Now let me give you a quick look at some of the tools that I'm going to be using. And by tools, I'm also including stamps and kits. So I found this butterflies and flowers decorative masks, and I thought that would be perfect for adding some stenciled butterfly. Let me just put this so you can see it better. This would be perfect for adding some stenciled butterfly images in the background behind the photos and the other things. So I was excited to be reminded of that. You know, sometimes you have things tucked away and you don't use them and you forget about them. So this one sort of popped out at me, which was great. I also have some alphabets. Let me do this way. I've got alphabet and classic letters, and I've also got some dies to cut out numbers and letters. And what I'm thinking about doing is including the date and the state. Now these camping meetups that I'm going to, I'm starting out along the East Coast. I'm not going out west just yet because that would be a much longer trip. But because I live in Connecticut, I've been going around New England, and I'm going to be heading down to Maryland in the very near future. So as I travel from state to state, I thought it would be fun to put the initials of the states that I'm in, maybe the month, and some numbers that might, I may number the meetups in the order that I go to, so I can just have some sort of a reference system. So these are going to be a lot of fun for that. And I'm going to go ahead and cut the numbers and the letters out on a contrasting color of cardstock, which will coordinate with the photos. So back again to the picking up the colors that are in the different photos. And then the last thing I want to show you here is I have this kit, and I have several of these. I don't think this kit is available at the moment. It's called Heirloom Arrangements. And what I particularly liked about this kit is that it has all these different layers. And I know this is going to be a little hard for you to see right here, but you can see it has pop-out die cuts, it's got envelopes, cards, it has tickets and tags. I'm not sure what that is. Let me just see. We'll take a look and we'll see what it is. But anyway, it's a butterfly theme. It's going to tie in beautifully with what I have planned. And one of the accent colors is pecan pie, which is great because that's one of the colors that I wanted to use in my overall design element. And it also has some wonderful stamps that will also correspond to the meetups. So I've gone ahead, I've punched out some of the elements that I can use to decorate the pages with. And I was thinking that these little background tags and rectangles and so forth would be perfect to add to the pages for some added interest. So maybe some tucks, some flaps, some frames. I mean, they're just so pretty, and I think that the colors are going to work beautifully with the palette that I've chosen. Additionally, in here are the card bases. So these can be used as little booklets if I wanted to stitch these together, or I could use them as pockets, or I could use them as flips inside the journal. So many kinds of ideas there. And the same, of course, with the envelopes. So every bit of this kit has the potential to be used in the journal. And it just makes it a little bit easier because everything's in here. They even have the double stick tape, the dimensionals. There's a stamp pad block and the stamps, so that's going to really help me along with pulling the journal together in a cohesive way. Now, as far as my ephemera goes, and let me just move this out of the way, not a lot of space here. Okay, so I've got some of the butterflies that I used for the dangles. If you've been following along, you'll remember that I made some butterfly dangles that people could hang from their rearview mirror in their car, which would help to identify them as members of the butterfly tribe. This is kind of sticking together here. And then I went into my butterfly stash and I pulled out a bunch of butterflies that I had put together, and they're very pretty and they have a little bit of sparkle to them. They have this added filigree layer, so that kind of gives another dimension to the pieces. So those will be fun. I have my car pass, so this is some of the ephemera that was used during the last meetup. I've got my sticker for Dandelion Cottage design. So this is actually not a butterfly, this is a moth, but this is one of my watercolor paintings of a moth. It's a nature study. And this is a Cecropia moth. It's the largest silk moth in North America. And this sticker shows it at approximately, oh, I don't know, a quarter to a fifth of the size. The moths are this big. They're massive. And I found one in my backyard here at Dandelion Cottage a few years ago. And I painted it. And so I've had stickers made featuring the moth, and though it's not quite a butterfly, I thought it would be fun to include. Then I also have a collection of other stickers. So here's a sticker collection that Lulu sent me. Okay, so this was the meetup that I went to in New Hampshire, and that's her logo, so I thought that would be fun to include. There's also a holographic one, which is very fancy. I think I'll save that for another occasion. And then I have just some stickers I had kicking around in my journal folder that I thought would be fun to use. Because the meetups are for women of a certain age, shall we say, I thought that a little reference to age would be fun. And I just want to point out that there were quite a few ladies there over the age of 70, and they were still kicking it. So it was quite the inspiration. And then here I have some stickers that were sent to me from Kim. And so these were designed by Out on a Limb Kim, and that's Kim with a Y. And this is the Butterfly Tribe sticker with the, also says tracks on there. So you can go ahead and look for this online, and hopefully you'll be able to, oops, let me get that under there so you can see it. There we go. Okay, so hopefully you can find these accounts on social media and you can join up. All right, so those are the, it's not a lot of ephemera, but it's something to get me started. And now I'm going to switch over to the photos, and this is the thing that is really the most important part, or the most important element of all. And if you are a scrapbooker, you already know that. You don't need me to tell you. But I'm new to scrapbooking, so this is new to me. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've printed out some photos. And to do this, I used my Selfie, let me see what the name of it is. Selfie CP 1500, and this is a very tiny little portable printer. I had originally purchased it to bring to crops, so if I wanted to print out pictures while I was actually at a crop, I'd be able to do it. And it works great, and I really like it. I don't have a lot of experience with it, but there are how-to videos on YouTube like everything else, and they walk you through it, and it's really very simple. So what I've got here are my plastic envelopes where I've categorized my different pictures. So this is the envelope with my first meetup. This is the one I'm going to be using first for my very first spread. When I left the meetup, which was in New Hampshire, I went to the coast. And so I collected a bunch of pictures that show me at the beach doing some plein air painting and having fun on the coast. And the color, as you can see, the color palette is very distinctive. So I started pulling out, this is Misty Moonlight. I'm starting to look at different blues and greens that might work well with those photos. Then I went to my second meetup, so I've got a whole bunch of photos in here. I'll just show you this one. This one was in southern Connecticut, and there we are by the pond, and everybody's assembled around the campfire. This is so much fun. I can't even tell you. And here are some of us, okay, posing for the camera. And while I was there, I had a little class, and I showed everybody how to make a butterfly dangle. So here we are sitting at the picnic table with our dangles. So lots and lots of fun. So that's coming up. That's my second meetup. Then I had some outtakes. I had some photos that I printed out that I just felt were too small, and I had to redo them. I'll get better at that as I go along. And then I was going through my pictures, and I found these photos that I just had to print, even though I don't have a album for them just yet. But here I am with my brother, my baby brother, who I simply adore. So I love this picture. And then just last weekend, the tall man and I went to a wedding, and we don't usually get out of our jeans and t-shirts, so it was quite the occasion. So here we are in our best dress. I don't know if that's focusing or not, but that's the tall man and me. And then this is my stepson, my beautiful stepson, Gabriel, and he looks extremely handsome here with his dad. So I printed that out just to have on hand. I may pop it in a frame, or I may turn it into another scrapbook. We shall see. So that was a lot of talk, and so let me show you how I would begin to approach the next step. So hang on while I get my base out here. I think I need a lot bigger counter space here for my projects, especially with something as complicated as a spread. So this is the file folder. And zoom you out a little bit so you can see the whole thing. So that's the space that I have to work with. And I have my decorative papers and my various other elements. And so my thought is that when I went to the first meetup, it was hosted by a lovely woman named Lulu. And Lulu is kind of well known for her black and white decor in her camper van. And so I thought it would be a lot of fun to pick up on the black and white theme. And she's very eclectic. She has stripes and polka dots and all sorts of black and white things. And I had this beautiful paper, and I thought that'd be really pretty. So I'm kind of thinking something like this. And I'm going to go ahead and pull out my black cardstock. And maybe some of this color would be good to pick up. So I have two pieces. One of the nice things about assembling the book this way as a spread is that the book will be bound in accordion fashion, which means that I'll be able to keep the integrity of the two-page spread. Whereas if I was doing a bound book, I would then be breaking it up every time I added another signature. This way, I can see both pages at the same time, and once the book is bound, it'll make sense as the viewer goes through the book. So these are my basic black mats. Then I've got my paper here. And so I'm just gonna keep this out. I'm not going to assemble anything today. I'm just playing with color, playing with design, and my color palette. And then I've got this kind of a warm. This is Pebbled Path, and it kind of picks up on the warm tones in the designer series paper. So let's look at some of the photos. So here's Lulu. Here I am with the hostess of the meetup, and I'm going to need to mat the photos. So you can see that that looks something like that, and that way I can just do those across the page. Here's my friend Leslie M. I was Leslie W. and she was Leslie M. So we have a whole secret sign language to distinguish one from the other. Here's my new friend Karen, who I fell in love with. And since then, we've been on another meetup, and I will probably see her at the next two meetups that I'm going to. So we're going to be buddies. There was an event at the meetup called Spotlight, and because I'm not a dancer or a singer or a performer, what I did was I shared my sketchbook with the people there, and they really enjoyed it, and I had a lot of fun. So I'm planning now what my next Spotlight activity is going to be, and who knows, it might be a travel journal. And here are some of the other folks that I met during the meetup. So this is Purple Renee, and you can see why she's called that for obvious reasons, and she's absolutely wonderful. And Laura, okay, so I think you can see. So these books, these travel journals, are going to be a great way to remember all of the various activities from the different meetups. Here I am with my setup in front of my trusty Subaru Forester, and if you look closely you can see the tent on the back and the screen room off to the side. So that was my setup for my first meetup, so that's an important photo. And then we had the big pajama party at night at the end to celebrate the meetup. It was so fun. I'm sorry for the bad camera work here, but I will show you the finished spread once I'm done and I've got everything assembled, and you'll be able to see things a little bit better then. So if I look at all of the pictures together, because, well, for one thing, because I was wearing a gray dress, that really works really well with the gray background. But there's a few colors that kind of pop out. So, for instance, we've got Laura's beautiful blue dress, Purple Renee, hey, come on. Lulu's got this gorgeous magenta dress here. So any of those colors, here's a beautiful orange, sort of a burnt orange color. So any of these colors would be awesome for accent colors to use with the letters for New Hampshire and the date and whatnot. So I hope this gives you some ideas. I hope, I know I jumped around a lot today. It's a little eclectic, but this is sort of how you begin. And then, of course, once you get going, everything kind of falls into place and it all makes sense. But my thought is start with the big things first. So start with your big background pages. Absolutely get your photos printed out because that's going to dictate everything, okay? And then once you have those things sort of assembled, then you can start filling in with the secondary colors, the little added embellishments, and all the things that are going to make it personal to you. So I hope that gave you some ideas. I know it's a lot all at once. It's daunting for me too. I'm not used to doing this kind of a sort of a scrapbooking journal. But I think that some of the ideas that I talked about today will help you in your scrapbooking as well, if that's something that that you like to do. So I'm going to continue on this, and next installment will be step 4, and I should have a lot of things in place by then. And yeah, so that's what I've got for you today. Remember, if you're doing the same thing, you can go over to the Watercolor and Stampin' Up! Paper Crafting Projects Facebook group. You can ask to be invited in. It's a private group. And there will be a post in there. And if you're doing some similar ideas with your travel journal or scrapbooking, you can include your photos there and show everybody what you're doing for inspiration and see what everybody else is up to as well. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you'd like to learn more about the meetups and where I'm going to be and where I've been, please subscribe to Notes from Dandelion Cottage, because I will be posting a schedule there and showing more photos so you can see some of the fun that I've been having this summer. It's been great. Stay well, stay happy, stay creative, and I will see you next time.